Today I want to talk about something called the butterfly effect in your life and about how every single small action you have has a kind of cascading effect on your future decisions in your life. Hi, my name's Jack and I make YouTube videos about ideas that have changed my life. This is one of them, and it's about the decision chain of each tiny little action in your life and how huge the consequences can be for doing, a single thing that you shouldn't be doing. I, like most people, find myself getting fucking addicted to things that are bad for me very often. And while I've got most of the major ones out of my life, I don't really watch Netflix, I don't booze too much anymore, I'm not in the cocaine or the porn or whatever, I still find myself getting addicted to things which I shouldn't. And for me, there's been two things that have stood out for me in the last while. Both of them are kind of shamanic medicines. One of them is called Rapé, which is a tobacco snuff that you shoot up your nose with a tiny little applicator, and it puts you into a very meditative state for like half an hour. It gives you some of the best meditations of your life. Also feels very good. Also is very addictive because it's tobacco. Another one's called Mambe and Ambeel. It's two separate things, but they go together. It's a bag of coca powder, like a green clay, that you put in your mouth, and it's a little tub of tobacco paste made with honey. Tobacco paste salivates your mouth, and then you put the dry clay in there, you create it as a ball and you stick it in the side of your mouth, and it gives you, it's kind of like spiritual fags and cocaine. It gives you a buzz, it helps you focus, it helps you work harder, but it also makes you kind of fly and get a bit jittery, especially when you do it 10 times a day. And the shamans are using this 24/7. 24/7. They've always got a ball of this Mambe and Ambeel stuff on this side of their cheek. So you look at it, you're like, it's healthy, it's good for you, because there's no physically bad things for you about these plants. Tobacco is bad for you because they put fucking thousands of chemicals in the fags. It's not actually the tobacco leaf that's bad for you. So you can rationalise away. You think, well, it's medicine, well, it's good for me, well, it's helping me work. But when you were doing it 10 times a day, when I was doing it 10 times a day, it was not good for me. You're supposed to do it once a week. And so this mechanism of continuing to do something that I knew wasn't good for me was negatively impacting my life. Because the decision would pop into my head and I would see the path towards the light, which would be don't do it, put it down. And I would choose to make the decision that took me towards the little devil on the shoulder. And this mechanism of consistently making small decisions in my day that weakened my willpower was actually extremely detrimental, because it weakened my willpower in general in life. Maybe I'd end up having a beer midweek when I know I probably shouldn't, and it affected my work the next day. Maybe I would procrastinate more at my work. Maybe I'd choose to watch Netflix instead of reading a book. There was always like the next consequence. It was called like the second order consequences of the one decision I made, and I could never find the chain of cause and effect, or I wasn't aware of this chain of cause and effect. You just start feeling less energy, feeling a bit more anxious, feeling that you're not being as productive at your work for a couple of hours or a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And then I realised that I could trace back at some point, a period of depressive days to a single decision I made in the evening, maybe at 9 o'clock, to shoot this Rapé up my nose. And because I knew I shouldn't have done it, it then fucked up my sleep, and then the next day I was a bit tired, and then blah 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 blah. Or I could track a low week back to the fact that I should have went on a date, but I chose not to do it because I was being a shite bag. Or I could track, a shite night out back to a single moment when I knew I should have went and spoke to that lassie, but I decided to be a coward and not do it. And it got me thinking of this, cascading effect of the decisions the tiny fucking decisions in your life, about this butterfly effect, about how every single tiny little action that you make, if you make it, every action you make is either taking you forward or taking you back. And if you continue to make decisions like taking you back, I know you could rationalise it away, like, oh, I worked hard today, oh, I can watch Netflix, oh, I'm just going to watch YouTube for 10 minutes, it's fine, oh, I'm just me. I know you can rationalise it, I do that myself fucking millions of times, but it's about what it's doing to, the future of your life. Not even just in the long term of like, if you read this, if you read a book in this 30 minutes instead of watching YouTube, you'd be way smarter. But like, there's the second and third order consequences that come from this tiny little decision. So that's basically the butterfly effect of small decisions. It's a quick video today, but a little idea that has helped me operate in the world with more and more momentum. So give it a bash, have a think, pay attention to these things that are affecting you in your life, pay attention to where the little decision points are that take you down, the negative road or towards a positive road. And maybe, be aware of them and see what happens. Alright, cheers.